Hey there, it's Shauna. I hope you're doing great. This is your weekly astrology forecast for August 14th. And this week is all about meeting at a crossroads. So this is a point where you may feel like you're coming to a crossroads, whether that's needing to make a certain decision or just feeling like there are two parts of you being pulled in different directions. And so I'll share with you the astrology of the week, and then I have 3 tips for you to really use this energy to have an amazing week. So this week we're right in the middle of the eclipses. We're right smack in the middle of eclipse season. We had the lunar eclipse in Aquarius last week, and we're going to have the total solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in Leo. So we're kind of like in between worlds here. This is a part of the meeting in the crossroads. On Monday, we'll have the last quarter square of the moon in Taurus. In the last quarter square of the moon, this is a time where there's an internal reflection point. There's this, some people call it a crisis of consciousness, which is really just to say that it's a time to reflect on where you're at in life, maybe if you want to shift things, and it may be a time where you're deciding how to move forward. You're deciding what to let go of, and you're deciding what to move toward. This is especially so because we're right in the middle of eclipses, like I just said. So this last quarter moon, it is in the sign of Taurus, and it happens Monday, August 14th at 6:14 p.m. Pacific time. It happens Tuesday, August 15th at 1:14 a.m. Universal time, and that same day on Tuesday at 11:14 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. And so I would pay attention to Monday and Tuesday especially, just to check in with how you're feeling. Again, you may feel more reflective, and this is really a time of deciding what it is that you value, because it's the last quarter moon in the sign of Taurus. The other major aspect that's happening this week that may feel quite intense is we have a T-square with Venus, Jupiter, and Pluto. So Venus is all about what we love, what we're attracted to, what brings us comfort, because Venus is in the sign of Cancer right now. And this is happening with Jupiter, which expands things. It brings a sense of optimism, brings a hunger for life, a hunger for knowledge. And Pluto, which is all about transformation, and Pluto is also about the birth, death, and rebirth process. So not gonna bullshit you guys, this coming together, like, this is an intense combination, because there's like this hunger for something more in life. There's also this hunger to be nurtured. There's this desire to feel security, which is what Venus in Cancer is all about, for safety. And getting these things at all costs, which is what Pluto and Jupiter are about. Pluto also calls for reinvention, for dramatic reinvention. When Pluto comes in, it's like someone coming into your house and saying, okay, like, we got to strip all this stuff out. We can't just pile on more decorations. We need to really clean everything thoroughly. And so that's a certain element of what's being asked of you now, especially with the eclipses this month. There's a certain element of needing to reinvent something, or maybe to start fresh, maybe to release an old behavior pattern or a way of thinking, or even a literal situation that is just not working for you anymore. And what's important about this is it's not to say that there's a pattern that has been hindering you or that's been bad. It may be something that's been working for you before, and maybe that's why it's so confusing, is that maybe what has worked in the past is no longer working for you, and you have an opportunity this week to shift that. So that being said, keep in mind Mercury is still retrograde this week. It will go direct September 5th. So there's still this element of kind of figuring things out. So meeting at a crossroads is definitely appropriate. I could have also titled this sense of confusion. Things may feel like they're in flux a little bit. So don't be too hard on yourself. You don't have to have everything figured out now. What I do want you to know is it's important that you're really honest with yourself, and that you allow yourself the reflective time that you need to be clear with yourself as much as you can. So that leads me to the tips for this week. So tip number 1 is I want you to write down 3 new things that you would try if you had nothing to lose. So that can be anything, but especially like some kind of creative interest. With Venus, Jupiter, and Pluto involved, this could also propel you towards something that is creative that you've wanted to try or to explore more. Pluto has a lot of creative energy behind it. So that, write down 3 things that you would try and then pick one to do. Anything, like maybe it's taking a new class or exploring something that's a little bit interesting. Like maybe you want to try hypnotherapy, or maybe you want to try painting, or maybe you want to buy a pack of watercolors or something. I don't know. Pick something and do it. Just try, just for fun. Tip number 2 is to do something that nurtures your senses. So things that come to mind for me are bubble bath, maybe like an essential oil or lotion that smells really good. Maybe buy some ingredients to make yourself a homemade meal one night this week. Buy some delicious wine, get a massage, like anything like that can be really soothing this week. And that's because the last quarter moon is in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is all about the senses and appreciating sensual beauty. And then Venus in Cancer is incredibly soothed by a feeling of nurturing, by a feeling of physical comfort. So that's going to soothe you this week. So that's tip number 2, to do something nurturing for your senses. And then tip number 3 is to let me know, put this into action. What is it that you're going to try this week? What is it, something that you're going to explore this week, whether it's a creative endeavor or just trying something new? Let me know. I always love hearing from you guys. So that was your weekly forecast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share it with a friend. And if you want to get more into these themes, if you want to hear more about the astrology of this week, you can listen to the Feminine Principle podcast, Astrology for Authentic Living. I co-host that with my astro friend Mel of Energetic Principles. And so that's on iTunes. I'll have a link below to that so you can listen when you like. And then, of course, I'm always offering readings. So if you want to get a reading with me, I'll have a link below for my website. I always love connecting with you guys that way as well. So I'm sending you lots of love and wishing you an amazing week. I will connect with you soon. Thanks so much. Namaste.